Aha, you are coming in. All right. Way to cut it close. Okay. So, good afternoon, everybody. Almost everybody. Oh, somebody else just came in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who did I miss here? Leslie, there we go. Okay. I really wish Zoom would have a way to sort people by order of appearance there or something. Anyways, okay, so, yeah, and that. Today, welcome back. For those of you who haven't greeted yet, Happy New Year. Good to have you here too. Today I'm going to describe for you the study levels that I alluded to yesterday, what those are all about, how they're going to affect your assignments this semester going forward. And that's really pretty much it for the classwork part of it. There's not a lot to it. So once we've wrapped that up, I will leave you with most of the rest of the class period to read an article about mastering your skills and how best to proceed forward and push yourself to the limits. Okay? And I'll talk more about that when we get there. So without further ado then, here they are. The math study levels. So in the vein of a choose your own adventure kind of deal, I have decided to make all of the homework assignments now have optional components to them. The level 1, just the basics, is the required part. You have to do at least that much. But everything else on top of that is optional. So you'll see then and I'll show you an example there, but the homework assignments will have all 3 of these levels listed as to what is included in each one. And you'll get to choose which level you actually want to engage with. Level 1 is the bare minimum. Okay? It is the smallest requirement I can create that still gives you just enough practice to feel like you've accomplished something, to get you to that point of, oh yes, I understand how this is working now. Okay? You get a few short exercises or a couple problems to try on your own. And this would also include the basic readings and the notes that you take over the weekend to prepare for class. You read ahead that section. That's a level 1 basic assignment. All right? This is where all of the points come in. Okay? I will be grading these assignments based on the expectation that you will have completed level 1. And I'll look at your work if you did level 2 and 3, but that will not affect the grade at all. The level 2 and 3 material, 2 goes above and beyond. So in the level 2 section, you'll see additional exercises and problems for more practice. So if you want to get better at something, level 1 starts you off with just enough to understand it. Level 2 is more practice to get even better and faster with it. Okay? And sometimes, instead, there will be an extra reading or a video in level 2. Right? And this is something to provide you with an alternative explanation or a different perspective on the same subject that could be helpful for some people, but is not strictly necessary to get by. And so that's why it goes in the level 2 category. And then level 3 is where we go even deeper. And that would include some extra challenging problems. Okay? If you really want to push yourself and see what you can do, try the level 3 questions. Or sometimes it might be an extra reading or video that is related, but is not as direct about the same topic. It might be some side subject that has a connection to the topic at hand, but is not directly addressing the skill for that section. And so I would say, hey, that's just extra if you want to broaden your understanding, see a connection to something else, perhaps. So it can be helpful, but not directly in making you better at that skill. Okay? Any questions on what the different levels are at this point? No? All right, so here is how they will actually show up then. All of the other material for the class work that we do here in the class periods, the quizzes and tests, and general expectations for the rest of the course are built around the level 1 content. Okay? Again, that's that bare minimum you have to do for this year to get by. You got to do at least that much. And that's what I expect everyone to do to pass the course. Okay? And then each homework assignment, okay, so the ones on Classroom labeled as homework assignments, the ones where you get, hey, go to the book section and do questions 1 through 10 or whatever, instead of just giving you one list of questions to answer, it will have these 3 different levels given out. So level 1, again, is where you should start. That's the minimum you need to complete to get the points. Level 2, notice says questions 14, 15, 20. It doesn't say 1 through 10 and 14, 15, 20, right? Level 2 builds on top of level 1. It doesn't replace it. Okay, so if you're doing level 2 work, you are completing the level 1 questions and the level 2 questions. Does that make sense? And then same with level 3. Level 3 would build on top of, so that's in addition to. If you want to work at the level 3, you have to do all 3 sets, right? And again, the level 1 is where you get the points. That's what I'm going to be checking for to give you credit. Level 2 and 3, if you don't do those, that's fine. It's totally optional. I will neither hold it against you, but neither is it worth extra points. Okay? It's purely for additional study. And that brings me to why I am doing all of this. Especially this year, everyone has different needs. I recognize that, and I think we all realize that with what's going on. People's experience at home is very different. Some people have lots of time, energy, and resources to do more homework. Some people don't. Even to their best wishes and efforts, they would like to do more, but they just have other responsibilities getting in the way, too much stress. I get that. So that's why I've brought things down. Here's the level 1. Here's just the basics. Right? A regular school year, we would probably be operating at a level 2 steadily across the board. But I brought it down to provide that safety net, just get the level 1 stuff done, and you don't have to worry about it further. But if you can, if you determine that your needs are such that you need more time, just do the level 1. If instead you're like, I need more practice. I realize, I took the quizzes on Monday. I realized, I didn't understand what was going on here. I'm going to do the level 2 this week because I could use it, because I'm going to need this skill for the test, right? Make that assessment. Use that information to your advantage. Use that as a resource for yourself. I've already picked out, here's the next step practice. It's designed to be maximally flexible. You're never locked into a particular level. If you start with the level 2, don't feel like you're stuck there. You can drop down to level 1. You can jump to level 3. Day to day, week by week, assignment by assignment. Okay? So take it as you need it. Perhaps one week you've got a lot going on. There's chaos at home. The English essay is due. You're like, I can't handle all this. I'm just going to do the level 1 stuff. There's too much others. I don't have time. But then the week after, you find, oh, hey, now that I've got through that, I got some more time. You know what? I really would like to dive in and improve my math skills this week. Let's strive for that level 2. I'm going to try a level 3 today. Why not? I've got some extra time. Instead of playing a little more video games, pause the chats with your friends. Try a level 3 problem. Right? that's available to you. You can make that decision. You can push yourself towards that mastery. Okay? I don't want you to settle for just okay. I would like you to start moving towards mastery. And maybe that means, in your case, you start with the level 1s this week, next week, you get comfortable with it. You're like, oh, that's not so bad. Actually, I could do a little more. And then in the coming weeks after, you push and you do more of the level 2s. And then after that, then you start trying some level 3s. And so maybe you slowly work your way up that way. That's totally acceptable. Okay? Any way you want to approach that. But I can't force that on you, especially when you're not here. I don't have the immediate feedback. I don't know enough about your situation to tell you what you need. You're going to have to take a little bit more leadership of your learning here. And I hope this works as a tool for you to be able to do that in a useful, efficient manner. All right, any questions on these then? What it's going to look like, how do they work, how it affects you. No? All right, then the one thing I would like from you in response to this is there on Google Classroom you'll find a link to a quick straw poll. Go ahead and answer that question for me. What do you think at this point, what would you like to work on the most? Which level do you anticipate being at most of the time? Again, most of the time. It's flexible, you'll have your ups and downs, but you're like, I plan to do what? Do level 2 most of the time? No, that's not for me. I'm just going to stick with level 1. If you're in between, I put in the in-between options. You can pick level 1.5 and say, I plan to try the level 2 sometimes, but maybe not most of the time. Or maybe, again, with 2.5, you're like, I'm definitely going to do the level 2 stuff most of the time. Maybe try 3s here and there. Or if you're real hardcore, you're like, I want the level 3s as often as I can get it. Which, fair warning, there might not always be a level 3 option with every assignment. Not every topic we cover lends itself to having an extra challenge problem to go with it, but as often as it's there, let me know how much you want to take advantage of at this point. Okay? And that gives me a little bit of feedback so I know and I can get those assignments prepared and have enough material there for everybody. Okay. Once you've done that, that'll be our classwork section for the day, which means the remainder of the time you can get started on your homework tonight, which is to read this article, The Mastery Path, Why Understanding is Not Enough. And when I first read this, I thought, this is fantastic. This is the key into why so many students run into this problem right here. Let me know if this describes you. I understand the math when it's taught in class, and I do the homework, but I have a really hard time with the tests. Right? How many times you'd be like, you think you've got it, you did the review, you did fine, and then it comes to test day, and you look down the page, you're like, oh crap, I don't know this at all. Right? That's happened to me before. It's like all of a sudden the pressure and the panic, and it just vanishes from your mind. The difference, the reason why that happens, or at least one partial explanation, comes the difference between understanding and mastery. Just because you understand something at the beginning doesn't mean you're ready to test on it, because you haven't mastered it yet. Okay? Understanding is only the first phase. You need the mastery level to be able to do the more advanced questions, to do it under pressure, to do it in a new context, like the tests often include. Right? And so I really like the diagram that they've come up with here. You go from I don't get it to I get it, and that's a relatively short trip. But to go from just I get it to I've mastered it, that's a long process. It's a much bigger journey that takes a lot more time and effort. right? You're always going to start with that unpleasant feeling of ignorance and confusion when you first encounter something. What's this? I don't get it. What's going on? You work with it a little, you struggle, you ask questions, and at some point, you encounter that moment of insight when it clicks, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's how it is. I just put the thing in I got it. And I've seen this happen with students all the time, and then they have this sudden rush of energy, and they're like going through the homework super fast, like just answer. Like it all comes together. That's the I get it moment. And teachers live for that moment. It's a wonderful moment to see happen. It's wonderful when it happens to you. It's such a rush to feel like you understand something. But the problem is too many people stop there. That understanding is a key, but it's only a milestone on the road to true learning. It's not the final destination. You've got to keep going. And that's what this article is about. It's about that whole mastery path and taking that journey all the way there that is really a much longer journey. The second arrow might be longer, but it's not to scale. It's not merely 2 or 3 times as long. It's a lifelong journey. I have not yet mastered mathematics, let alone teaching mathematics. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly pushing myself towards improvement to understand the math better. Right? I kind of talked about that yesterday. Like I've come to this new definition of math itself. I've come to new techniques for how to relay that information to you guys. And I might almost never master it, right? Looking at this kind of graph, it's an asymptote. You never quite reach there. You always get closer and closer, but you're never done, okay? Learning is never over. You're doing it your whole life. And so the sooner you can accept that and understand, oh, I'm just constantly moving forward, never relax too much and think, oh, I'm there, I'm done. Because when you do that, it atrophies. When you get comfortable with it, you stop practicing, you start to lose it. You can slip, right? You got to keep the practice up. And one final note, the second half of this article, and the reason I'm going to have you read the whole thing and not just give you my summary, is it does give you some real tips and tricks and actual practical solutions of how you can begin and get started and doing some of this and working towards that. And really not just, hey, do more homework kind of way, but more specific, grounded techniques you can make use of to get those results. Okay? So go ahead and read through the rest of that, and there is a response question for you on Google Classroom. Respond to that tonight. That is your only homework for today. Okay? Any final questions? All right, then I will leave you with the rest of the time. You've got 25, 27 minutes to work. Have at it.